Hi, everybody. This is Angelique, and I'm sitting here with a dear friend of mine, Floris, who is somebody I met online through a synchronicity when the internet just started. And we became very dear friends and very close friends because we had a lot of commonalities, which I think we met on some kind of chat forum before there was Facebook or anything else. And we discovered we are very interested in movies and writing about movies and also spirituality and personal development. And early in the days, we were very much into Byron Katie.
Yeah,
And
you took me to a Baron Katie session in the Netherlands, and I was blown away. And since then, everything you discover, I say like, oh, that's you're pointing out something good. Let's go there.
yeah. And so at one point, I was very surprised when Floris told me, "Hey, I'm going to Dr. Joe." I said, "What? You're going to Dr. Joe? Oh my gosh, that's so exciting." And then the biggest surprise happened when in 2019, I felt I had to go to Mallorca in April. And then, of course, I heard from Floris, "Oh, I'm there as well." But then through the biggest synchronicity of all time, we ended up in the same team, the Flamingos, which was like, what? This is no coincidence. And ever
Yeah.
since then, we've been, really like doing quite a lot for the meditation community of Dr. Joe and healing community. And we've stayed friends ever since. And also at one point, I think, Floris, you were dealing with a business issue, and I just offered, why don't we do a business constellation on this? I actually studied this. I wasn't working with it then with clients, and I just said, I would love to see what unfolds. I still remember things that happened, and I don't know why. I don't remember all constellations, but it was
Mm.
such a profound one. So how did you, because I know you do a lot of different modalities, you do a lot of different things that are about increasing basically your ability to transcend the ego or the mind, to go to
Hmm.
this optimum, place of beingness or well-being, to channel more of your whole being into the world. How would you say constellations work, and mainly business constellations, could help somebody who runs a business?
Yeah, good question. I'm a creative, of course, so I'm a seeker. I always try to find new things and create new things, which I do for my business also. And it's also in my personality. So yes, I love to find new ways of exploring yourself or exploring spirituality, whatever that means, or exploring the world, traveling. I love to venture into new territories. And when you mentioned doing a constellation, I first was like, I wasn't really aware of what it was. I hadn't done it consciously, and then you just laid it out, and you made it very. It seemed very easy, and like it sounds so heavy, constellation. But when you do it, it's actually quite fun because it's so good to see what happens that you laid out different piece of paper which I couldn't read. We couldn't read what was under there, and then you channel whatever happens when you're on the spot. And there's information coming there out of the blue, and it's useful information too.
Yeah. As I remember, this is one of the things that we're trained in a lot, is that, of course, as a business entrepreneur, we still carry stuff from the family with us, and things that, it could be money imprints, business hard work, upper limit type of imprints, or even
Hmm.
like, can I do this type of imprints? So sometimes when we encounter certain issues in our business or with our clients, they literally are taking us back to some of the things that we've experienced when we were younger. And so this is why leadership, entrepreneurship, we still have to unravel things that we've experienced from our families. And
Yeah, but that's also why I became an entrepreneur in the first place, to free myself, I think, of a lot of past issues and things I didn't like in my life. And becoming an entrepreneur is the ultimate version of yourself, because you have to learn so much. It's not only how to do business, but it's also how to get clients, and it's also how to make your process and leadership. And it's a really steep learning curve, and I'm still learning. So I love to be at this spot. But Constellation goes, of course, into the understream of what you cannot think of right away, or what's not in your rational mind. And we all carry around the issues of millions of generations behind us. Your two parents and their parents and their parents, and
countries we lived
there,
in. Yeah.
yeah, and there we even carry things we're not aware of. We carry things that are not even our stuff. And a constellation is such a easy. I cannot find another word for it. It's so easy because it's friendly. It's deep work, but it didn't feel like that. Like it was light to me.
Yeah. Although you did work through something that you could have seemed like something that was difficult to solve, but it was easily solved in the constellation because you're not dealing with those real people, so and you had to resolve it in your inner self. And that, I think, makes it lighter, because the ones that do constellations, they have so much curiosity and money invested in looking at themselves, that when we encounter, let's say, something in the quantum world, which is, I see constellations as making the invisible visible. When you then see your own inner father or inner sister or inner family creating some kind of limitation in you that you then put forward in your business, I think instead of like going to therapy and talking about them, you resolve it inwardly, and then you see actually they feel better, even in the quantum, they feel better when you resolve it inwardly. And then this business issue isn't there anymore in your business. And that is, and then you can look forward to actually and feel excited again. So I know that you do a lot of different types of work. Would you say that a business constellation intuitively leads you to the exact issue that you need to work with very quickly, compared to maybe finding it in a coaching session through a huge questions list or something?
Yeah, you also treat it more business-like, because hey, of course you encounter within your business a certain type of problem. And in my case, it had to do with scarcity and money. And it makes it in the beginning maybe a little bit less personal, because it's business, but in the end business is personal. But you are more aware of a certain issue, because it becomes clear within business what kind of upper limits you encounter. And then you can more easily target your problem and then work through it.
Yeah. So, and you've of course also done family constellations. Could you say a little bit more about it? Because I feel when we did the organizational constellations, there really is very much a solution, because you're the leader. There has to be an outcome. And I've, of course, done family constellations as well. I felt that family constellations a lot was dealing with basically the other family members and the hierarchy and the flow of love that was distorted, and also a lot of stuff around acceptance and forgiveness and real compassion and opening our hearts again and letting the grief flow.
It's a way more emotional process also.
Yes.
And it's it was great to do that, but that's why I use the word easy and light again. This also involved family members, but it was more clear like where they were hindering me or where I was putting them in my own way and how to get past that. So it's totally different.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yet the same, because you're positioning things and people, but it felt different.
Yeah. So how can people work with you? I know that you do extremely exciting things. You have a book, you have actually a digital product, but if people would be looking for a name for the company, you have a very, I think you're the category king in your little super niche. Can you explain to people what you do?
I create names for businesses, services, products, brands that have to come into being, and that's the magic. You only need one word to say who you are or what you are, and I find that word for companies large and small, and it's like words are still magic to me, because with one word you can change the whole atmosphere. You can change someone's mood with just one word, and you can tell so much with language. So that's my profession.
Yeah. So, and the way that they find you is Namarama, which is a beautiful name. And I'll put it down in the description. And you can also find Floris, of course, on LinkedIn. And then he's working with, increasingly bigger brands, but it doesn't mean that as a smaller company, you cannot work with Floris. I think actually
True.
the
And I
bigger
also
brands.
give out a lot of free ideas about how to name your business and what pitfalls you should
Avoid.
divert from.
Yeah. And I think also you have a podcast, right? Your Instagram has a lot of information, a lot of interviews with people that actually are also
in
involved.
Dutch, but
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. So maybe at one point you'll do it in English as well.
Good idea. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Floris, for this. And thank you, everybody. Reach out to us.
You're welcome.